The Utah Hockey Club sets a record, drops a heartbreaker, and after everything and all the dust settles, I'm actually changing my tune on the way this season is supposed to go, in my mind, for the Utah Hockey Club. Tom Callahan, Robin Leaño, Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast coming your way right now.
You are Locked On Utah Hockey Club, your daily podcast on the Utah Hockey Club, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Tom Callahan and Robin Leaño here. Robin is fresh off a nap. Utah Hockey Club keeps taking naps. We're going to get into that. And it's part of the reason why I've changed my tune. We're also going to stop and take a moment to appreciate one of the greatest players ever in the game of hockey, Alexander Ovechkin. We're going to talk about Utah Hockey Club's record that they set as well. I'm Tom Callahan, former NHL play-by-play voice. Robin Leaño is a longtime team analyst and has been following this club since the dark ages back in a southern state which shall remain nameless. So, Robin, as I mentioned, you're fresh off your nap here, pre-show. You're ready to go. You're fired up. That's part of the hockey routine, right? The guys, during the day, they go to morning skate. They go, they eat lunch, take a nap, or they do it in reverse order. Some nap, then eat, and then they go out and play the game that night. So you've got your pregame in. How are you feeling right now?
You know, I'm feeling a lot better. You know, I'm feeling pretty recharged and ready to tackle all this and just get right into it.
There's a lot, isn't there? There's a lot going on, and we're talking about this Washington game. It was 6-1 shots in favor of Utah Hockey Club. It was 1-0 on the scoreboard in favor of Utah Hockey Club. It was about 7 minutes into the game. And I was over on Blue Sky because I think I've officially given up on Twitter now, even though I occasionally hang out there, just to make sure that I'm directing people to Blue Sky. But I thought, no sooner had I sent this to, I said, boy, if they can keep this up for like the next 50 minutes, this is awesome. This is exactly what I want to see out of the Utah Hockey Club. And then Washington scored. Then Washington scored again. And then they scored one more time after that, just for good measure, just to make sure that that particular message that I had just crafted did not at all age well. The wheels just came right off.
Wheels coming right off is one way to put it, Tom. It really just turned upside down. It's like the entire ship capsized.
It number one, it was frustrating, right? I mean, you could almost see it coming. You could feel it coming. Oh, yeah. You felt them closing back in defensively, kind of going into a shell, and Washington could smell the blood in the water, came after them. I mean, that's a bunch of sharks out there, you know, no pun intended for your favorite hockey team, but they, and especially Ovechkin, knows how to score goals. They know how to apply pressure. They know how to take advantage. That team is putting up some gaudy offensive numbers this year. We talked about it in our pregame show, and they absolutely took advantage of every break they got.
They really did, and I think that's one of the things too, is if you're not prepared for a team like that, who is just incredible offensively, who has that kind of talent, you know, you can name a lot of different people on that roster, and chances are they scored in that game.
Yeah, and Ovechkin was one of them, scoring twice in the game. And you know what? Again, it looked good early when they were able to get that goal from McBain, and I thought, geez, that's great. They filtered a puck through to the front of the net. McBain was right there, Johnny on the spot. I mean, you need to score your goals from 2 or 3 feet in front of the blue paint, and I thought, wow, that was a great way to start. But that honestly, was all it was.
You're right. I thought the start was pretty decent too. I thought, you know, they were moving the puck well. They were kind of getting it around. Kind of a lot of things that you and I were saying. They were kind of they were filtering it around, forcing the defense to move around and getting an open or getting some quality shots on. And that's kind of what led to McBain's goal. And then at some point it just stopped. I think once I think Washington scored like 2 in a span of like a very short period of time. I feel like they kind of.
Do you really want to know how long of a period of time it was? Because I can tell you.
Oh, great. That's
10 seconds.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
I knew it was a matter of seconds. I was just like, all right, how am I going to say it? But yeah, it's crazy.
It's like being stabbed in the eye with a graphite splinter. No, it's not cool. So I do want to remind everybody today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. I'll tell you what I wouldn't have had on my FanDuel bet, and I do have a point to this. I would not have had Utah Hockey Club scoring first. And as I have mentioned to you before, I felt like, Robin, the starts have been problematic for Utah this year, and they weren't engaging in the game until a little bit later, and then they kind of get into it. They did the opposite in this game. They engaged right away. And so, number one, I do want to say, let's pick some positives here. Kudos to the good start, okay? Mm-hmm. That's what they were supposed to do. They took it to Washington. They were on home ice, and they did get a goal out of the deal. And again, they had 6 shots, 1 goal. Everything looked good. But what has puzzled me, and in listening to all of the post-game quotes and comments, and, it's a mixture from Andre Tourigny, Lawson, Krause, Ian Cole. Those are the 3 guys that we heard from post-game. It's a mixture of frustration and a little bit of puzzlement because they're all saying a mixture of the same thing, and maybe there's a different thought. I actually thought Ian Cole was very intelligent in his responses to a lot of it and just trying to figure out what the heck is going on with this team. But, of course, he's new. He hasn't been here as long as Lawson Krause. He hasn't been here as long as Andre Tourigny. So he's maybe got a little bit different thought process right now. But, the other 2, your coach and your assistant captain are having some frustrations, and rightly so. They're saying, I got to be better. We got to be better, meaning the team. And that's it. It's consistency of effort. I don't know how they have. The only thing that's been consistent is the inconsistency. They have consistently let down. They have consistently taken, I call them these naps. Mm-hmm. They take naps for 2, 3, 4, 5 shifts at a time. And that can carry up 5-10 minutes of gameplay sometimes. They'll just take these naps and they go from leading to trailing. Or if they get all-world goaltending, maybe they get out of it unscathed, but really beaten back. And I just don't understand how within the course of a game they can be so mercurial.
Yeah, it is. The term out again. I will say this to everybody, and very well knowing exactly what I'm saying because I know this is the hockey club, but this is classic Arizona Coyotes hockey. Like it's the same thing over and over again. Again, it's the same. It is the same team, right? But it is just consistently consistently inconsistent is the term you used. I feel like other terms that been tossed around is always just being like it is just consistently just like mediocre to sub-mediocre. It's just like it's just there. It's to me like I try to be optimistic, but it's every time they throw out a game like this, I just laugh and I just shake my head and I'm like, this is the same team I've been covering for the last 4 years.
And it's frustrating, Robin. It really is, and it's frustrating to the guys, I'm sure. It's frustrating, and you know what? I give credit. Actually, I'll take this back. I don't think it is frustrating for the fans just yet, and I give them credit. I think Utah fans are still pretty much happy to have a team. Very excited to be there and enjoy the effort and what they see and what they're taking in. And a lot of them are sampling hockey for the first time. So I don't think there's actually a whole heck of a lot of that pressure on them. And what are you going to do? Fire the coach? What are you going to make a big trade? You're going to trade part of this core? To me, that's actually a more likely scenario is trading the core than making a move on the coach. Like I don't see the point in that right now. And I want to talk a little bit more about that, but that is actually something I want to talk about in the context of I'm changing my tune on things for this season. So that is an important differentiation that we're going to need to make here, at least for me. And you know what, Robin? I'm going to test this theory out on you and, of course, all of our listeners and viewers But I'm curious to see what your thoughts are right after this. All right, so today's show is brought to you in part by Prize Picks. So what is Prize Picks? It's the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash, which is insane. Run your game all season long with Prize Picks. So think about this. You can now win up to 100 times your money, which is insane. But the best way to get in on this here, it's the only real money daily fantasy platform with an insurance policy, an injury insurance policy. Your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. So if you had Diggs a couple of weeks ago when he went down for the Texans, you would have been fine. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. That's fantastic. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. All right, so here's what you're going to do. If you sign up today, you get $50 instantly when you play $5. You do not need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. They also have weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. That's amazing. You think Connor McDavid will get more than 0.5 goals next week? Yes. Austin Matthews, he's out right now, but when he comes back, that's going to be an interesting one. I wonder how long he's going to be out for, actually. But if guys are going hot right now, and Ovechkin was another one of those plays, scores twice the other night, cook up your hot takes with your friends and win real money this hockey season when you and your crew run your game with Prize Picks. All right, download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL and get your $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNHL. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. And today's show also brought to you in part by Game Time. So, I've talked to you about Game Time in the past. I love it. Game Time's got a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Maybe you want a Jazz game. Maybe you want a Utah Hockey Club game. Maybe you want something else. Maybe you're looking for some UU action on there. Or maybe you want to go see a comedy show or a concert or something else at a live venue. Game Time Picks has you covered. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Now, the other thing that I recommend for you to do with this is to toggle on the all-in pricing. It's not on by default, but turn it on because it shows you exactly what you're going to pay, out the door pricing. That's all you got to worry about. So if it says 50, it's 50. If it says 75, it's 75, whatever it may be. So also I want to tell you that right now, Game Time's having an exclusive zone deal for NHL Winter Classic event at Wrigley Field. Go to the Game Time app to purchase tickets. 10% off bleacher seating and 20 to 25% off home plate area seats at an incredible venue. They're at Wrigley, and it's going to be just an amazing game. Can't wait. Always look forward to the Winter Classic. It's one of my favorites. So you can check out your panoramic seat view before you buy right there in the app. Low price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Okay, so now that I'm fired up talking about all this fun stuff and getting seats, actually I'm excited. Winter Classic too. That kind of hopped into my head, Robin. We're a month and a half away from the Winter Classic already. That's crazy. But
amazing. I love it. My favorite time of year.
Oh, it's so cool. So cool. Nothing will ever beat the Buffalo one, though, and not just because I'm from Buffalo, but that was hockey in a snow globe, and it was magical. So I'm just going to always appreciate that, even though they lost in a shootout. I will never forgive Sidney Crosby for beating Ryan Miller in the shootout and the Penguins winning that game.
Yeah, I've heard the Big House was also a good one.
I don't think there's a bad one. You know
True.
what I mean? I don't. If you are there as a fan experiencing something like that live, I mean, I hope Utah gets something soon. I would love to see
it would be a great experience.
Love to see it. It'd be so much fun. I would be all over that. But, so talking about before the break here, do you fire the coach? The Boston Bruins made a move, got rid of Jim Montgomery. Now, that's a team, mind you, that truly believed it was a contender and right now is not playing like one.
Yeah.
A couple other teams are in that boat. Colorado is kind of putting it together. Nashville is still struggling, but not putting it together. The Boston Bruins fire the coach and are trying to figure it out. So there's a couple other supposed to be cup contenders that are struggling. Now, Utah was never supposed to be a cup contender. And as I had tried to caution everybody before the season started, they weren't even really supposed to be a playoff team this year. And that was hammered home to me, Robin. This is when everything changed for me. My mindset changed for me during the Washington game when I'm watching it unfold. And I thought to myself, the overachieving expectation, I think I bought into the hype of the move and the excitement and the growth and the new decor and the injuries of Hurt. No Jersey Hurts, no Marino Hurts. It is not an excuse, but it is a reason. So yes. When you put that on top of those things, I realized that I think I was my expectations were too high. I set the bar too high because I began to believe, well, they're just going to overachieve. I know I said that, and rational brain Tom said they overachieve. They're a playoff team. Tom, you said if they overachieve. They're not overachieving. Sometimes they're underachieving. Most of the time, they're about on par with where I thought they'd be for a young team growing and inserting a young Maverick Lamoureux into a starting defensive role and trying to figure out who they are, where they are, what they are, trying to, Band-Aid, duct tape, rubber band, Scotch tape a defense together and keep it rolling. It's not the goaltender's fault. I don't think they've played poorly at all. I'm changing my expectations, Robin. And now my expectation goes back to where it was. I want to see this team improve into the 9, 10, 11 spot in the conference conversation. That's where I was coming into the season. I got hyped up by a good start, by, some players finding some success early, a couple of guys really breaking out, and then all of a sudden they cooled off and now they're coming back down. And I'm like, why am I so disappointed by this team? I didn't expect this to begin with. So, Robin, I'm changing my tune. I am, because I think I've been a little overly optimistic, and in a bad way.
Yeah.
In a bad way, like putting too much pressure on this team to be good when they're just not there yet.
I am 100% with you. I think that was, that was perfectly worded on the way, on kind of, I think how a lot of people's expectations were. I do feel like the hype ahead of time and the start to that season, the start to this season, I think so many of us were extremely bullish on this team. We were like, we saw it and we we're like, buy into this team right now. You guys are gonna have a fun time. This is gonna be a playoff team. We're just having a fun time and it's great. And
it was like a party every night.
Yeah, it was. And then we're coming back down to reality and realizing, okay, there are some real expectations that need to be set for this team. And I want to tell everybody this is not a bad thing that we're kind of shifting things here. It's the best way to explain it is we understand where this team is, and we know they have great potential. It's just this year, given the circumstances and still being only really just a few, like I said, 3-4 years into a rebuild. That's still very new. It takes a long time to completely rebuild in hockey, especially now when there's 32 teams rather than, I think even, beforehand when there was like 30 or 20 or whatever, when it was less, it's like it was a little bit easier because you were able to find talent. But now it's It's so hard.
Brian Burke had a good line a couple of weeks ago. I was listening to Sirius XM, and he jumps on the morning show once a week, and they were talking to, and he's got his catchphrases that they kind of rib him about the things he says. But one of his things is he always says is there's only one Stanley Cup. And that came up. And when he was discussing the ownership's impatience, sometimes the GM's impatience, the fans' impatience to win a Stanley Cup, he said, no one wants to really deal with the reality that in a 32-team league, you're really going to win one cup every 32 years. And when he said that, I'm like, that is some excruciating math. When you think about one cup every 32 years on average, now there are a couple of franchises that have never won one and some get multiples, but that struck me. And I thought, you know what? This team has a long time to climb that ladder, and they're going to, and there will be changes. You're not going to keep everybody here, especially if you're in this position. If you are not so much battling for the 9-10, but you're more in the 11, 12, 13 conversation in the conference come trade deadline, you are a seller, and you're going to probably move some of your one-year deals. To me, Robin, I think that knowing now that I understand Utah is not only they come back down to earth, but now they have to find themselves. I think they're forging a different identity in Utah a little bit. Mm-hmm. And they came in with a bit of a blank slate, which could be a good thing, but they really need now to learn how to win. And that includes the consistency. That includes the effort every single time they go out. Every shift matters. But knowing how to manage themselves in games, but be able to put teams away, be able to be consistent with that. This is all part of the learning process now. And I think that for me, I'm going to try to enjoy this ride this year, this inaugural season ride. To me, now me as a journalist covering the team, I actually gave myself a little talk. I said, you know what? Why is this needs to be more fun for you. You need to enjoy this more. You need to appreciate this moment more. You only get one first year. And so I thought, you know what, that's where I'm going to come at it from now. But on the other hand, there's work to be done for Utah Hockey Club. But I'm no longer saying, oh my goodness, they're not in a playoff spot. Wringing of hands, gnashing of teeth. I think I'm putting that behind me for the rest of the year.
Yeah, because I feel like the more we do that, the more stressed we're going to get, and the more it's not going to be fun because we set such a lofty goal. It's just like, nope, not there. It's another one like this. But at the same time, I am still setting a level of high expectations for the leadership. For the players out there who have either an A or a C on their chest, that have been a part of the I would say. The term I'm looking for, the squad for a while, because it's still a carryover from Arizona, but it's not the same team, not the same organization, but this same squad for a long time. So to Clayton Keller, to Lawson Krause, to Nick Schmaltz, and whoever else wears a like a rotating A on their jersey or whatever, like, step the hell up. I haven't heard. Keller's doing great, in my opinion. I think Schmaltz should be doing more. Krause should be doing a little bit more. But
in post game the other night, Krause was pretty despondent and really kind of. He threw the gauntlet down to himself. But that when you have a letter, a lot of times that's your way of telling all your teammates, hey, you all also need to step up with me. But I am going to do what hockey players do and fall on the sword in my interview. But 0 for 7 on the power play doesn't cut it. That's terrible. And special teams has been kind of brutal this year. And we talked about it coming into the year. Special teams needed to be better. Penalty kill had to be better. Power play had to be better. It's not dynamic, but it doesn't have to be rocket science. No. It's move the puck around, create a lane, and then shoot when you get the lane. That's the other thing is, again, I showed a heat map a couple of shows back, and the heat maps have not looked all that different for recent games, for and against. That all has to change. You have to stop giving up the high danger chances. But Robin, what do we talk about the identity of this team as we saw it being drafted and constructed? Physical, puck possession, won't be pushed around, aggressive, wins those battles. They have not been that team.
No, they haven't, and I think that's the thing that we have consistently is hammered, and it should be, especially given their size. They are a bigger team.
Yeah, they physically should be outdueling other teams, but they're not. So I'm changing my tune, and I'm sticking with it. You know what? I do want to take a moment here to talk about the Utah Hockey Club setting a record, an NHL league record. And I also want to take a moment to appreciate the grade 8 Alexander Ovechkin, and that is coming up in just a moment.
And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle NFL action with America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you're in a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more all on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com and join today. Once again, you'll get $150 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. It's on FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League.
Okay, so let's talk first about Utah Hockey Club setting a record. Robin, this is an impressive record, and it is all because of the fans. That's right. That's right. Utah Hockey Club, check this out. So the jerseys go on sale at the Delta Center, and the fans line up outside the store. This is crazy, but this happened last Friday. So they set a Delta Center single-day sports event sales record. It beat the previous game, which was the October 8th home opener against Chicago, by 48%. Now, I don't know what the total is. They didn't tell us. But by 48%. So they 1.5 times more money, essentially. So they also set an NHL record, too, among regular season home games. That was the best ever net sales total, which beat the previous regular season best game by any team by 29%. And only one other game in NHL history has done better. That was the Golden Knights clinching win, Game 5 of the 2023 Stanley Cup Final at T-Mobile Arena, June 23rd, 2023. So kudos to Utah Hockey Club fans. And Robin, there is no way you can't tell me that Utah is not becoming, it is a hockey town, a hockey state.
Oh, yeah, it is 100%. And you can see how quickly they bought in to get, to buy new merch, that being buy their jerseys, right? And all that. I was reading some of the comments that we got on Jersey Day, or our Jersey Day episode. And I think a couple of comments where someone said that they had got there at 6:45 in the morning. So this is an hour and 15 minutes before even the season ticket holder exclusive line opens up, and where they allowed them to come in. They said they were maybe 100th in line.
Wow.
It was a long line at 6:45 in the morning, and we're people lining up well in advance. I love that. Right? People were lining up to get there. And I think by the time the general public one opened up, I think all the player versions were already sold out.
Now, I will say, I actually, as of earlier today, I had it on good authority that there is still a few jerseys remaining. They are mostly blanks, to your point.
Yes.
Mostly blanks.
And
but I think there are a couple players in I don't know if they're like in the oddball sizes or not. And by the way, they are all adult jerseys. We won't see kids jerseys till 2025. But so there's a few left. But also this nugget to go along with that. The only place you're going to get the inaugural season patch on your jersey is the Delta Center.
I mean, you can get one
Well, you can
yourself
buy it and sew it on,
yeah, and sew it on or iron it on. But it seems like it was done in shop because it looks like some of them were kind of peeling off. They weren't. It looked like some of them were like again they wanted to get it out as soon as they could, which is not an issue. If they was peeling off, they fixed it. And it was great.
And that happens sometimes.
Yeah, it was. But I feel like a lot of people, what they did is they bought their blank and then they took it to the separate side of the store where they did customizations, and you just tell them this is what I want.
I still haven't seen a Sparkles jersey, although I'm waiting.
No, I'm still waiting.
Yeah,
right there, right there, guys. It's just that, but in a Utah Hockey Club.
Nah, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. And Robin, here's the other thing. Whoever comes in and wears 91 for the Utah Hockey Club, if anyone does come in and wear 91, they have big skates to fill. You really do. So I also want to take a moment and appreciate the grade 8, Alexander Ovechkin. And Ovechkin injured in that collision the other night. And Robin, we want to stress, not McBain's fault.
Yes, not McBain's fault. Hockey plays like that happen. That's just a better way to put it. They happen. And it is unfortunate. I will say this, of Alex Ovechkin being out week to week, especially after he's been on a tear over the last few games.
Yes.
Looks like he's getting even closer and closer to Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal scored record.
I was thinking he was going to get it this year because he's now under 30 goals. I think he's at 28 left to go.
27, because it was 28 after the first goal, 27 after the second goal.
But now he is also week to week.
Yeah.
With a knee injury, not day to day, week to week. So, number one, Ovie, get well soon. He's going to get the record. He was having a tremendous run this season. Maybe he's back by Christmas, early January, who knows? He's been relatively healthy his whole career. He's been pretty durable. So I hope it's nothing too big and he's able to jump back in there and kind of catches that fire again.
Honestly, I think that's still doable.
Oh, sure it is. Sure it is. But
because Ovechkin would consistently in the last couple of years, I think he would consistently get 50 goal seasons just out of this in his mid 30s in 50 goal seasons. It's insane.
Well, it's because he's not afraid to shoot the puck. He'll shoot from anywhere.
Or they should shoot from his office, as we call it, right there, that high slot.
Yeah, he loves to set up for the one time on the off wing on the left side. But he's not afraid to shoot the puck, and that's why he scores goals. So kids, let that be a lesson to you. He scores because he shoots. So that's why he's not afraid to shoot the puck.
He's taking Wayne Gretzky's message to heart. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take is the quote Robin's referring to. And then let me back it up, Robin, for a moment. Wayne Gretzky, when he was a young boy, met Gordie Howe. And as he was talking to Gordie Howe, Gordie Howe's advice to him was work on the backhand, work on your backhand. And so Wayne Gretzky scored his 500th NHL goal on the backhand. And that's when I heard that story for the first time. So it all ties in. See, the legacy there from Mr. Hockey to the great one to the great 8. That's right. And McDavid and Austin Matthews and everybody that comes after them, that's the next guy they're chasing. But I do want to say too, for Delta Center fans who might have been there, or just if you were at home watching the game, or you were watching it on your Plus package, or however you were watching that game, you got to see a future Hockey Hall of Famer and one of the greatest goal scorers, and eventually to be the greatest goal scorer to ever play this game.
Absolutely.
Play in Utah. And I think that is and do his thing twice, not once, but twice. So that is something that, I hope that those, especially who were there and witnessed it in person, are able to cherish that. And that is a memory not a lot of people are going to have.
And they did that. I think, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people heard it too. There were a lot of cheers when they announced Ovechkin's name.
Yeah, it's hard not to like Ovie at this phase of his career.
Exactly. It's like you take a look at where he's at. Like I think that the era of like right before Ovie Stanley Cup to like now, it's like he's like this dude has worked so hard to reach these goals, and he does not stop until he reaches them. You have to appreciate that. You have to appreciate that you have someone who's got that level of determination. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just wanted to take a moment and appreciate a guy who will eventually be the greatest goal scorer ever to play the game and doing his thing in Utah. So yeah, I know it was a 6-2 loss, but I've learned over the course of my career to appreciate and celebrate exceptional players, and absolute greatness on the other team when I see it.
Especially if it only does good to help grow this game, no matter where you are.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Any last thought you want to share? Maybe anything in the last little bit before we close things off?
No, I think I've emptied the barrel for today. I got to save something for tomorrow's show.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, that's going to be it for this episode of the Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave us a review, like, comment, subscribe if you have yet to already. We're available everywhere you get your shows, including on YouTube, SiriusXM, ad-free on Amazon Music. Don't forget to interact with us on social media. We are on X, Instagram, Threads, LO_NHL Utah. Also on Blue Sky at Locked On Utah Hockey. And I'm personally at Robin_Leaño on X, and also on Blue Sky at Robin Ice Time. Tom, and where can everyone find you?
I am at Tom Talks, Blue Sky, and that is where I'm living most of my existence these days. I am still over on Twitter at Callahan on air if you do want to catch me over there, or X. But for the most part, I am holding down the fort on the Blue Sky side of things. So message me there if you would like, and give me a follow over there. Honestly, Robin, it has been so nice and so pleasant. People there are actually kind of nice and upbeat and enthusiastic and sharing their creative passions. It's been kind of nice.
It does seem that way, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to get some extra access to us and see what other kinds of exclusive content you can get access to, sign up to our text club at 801-760-9033. That's 801-760-9033. We'll give you a text link to get signed up. Your first 14 days are always free. If you like it, feel free to stick with us, and we hope you do. But once again, that's it for this episode. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hope you guys are staying healthy out there, and we'll see you guys next time.